Hey everybody, it's Thursday, February 20th. A lot of people have been asking how the donkeys have been doing this winter, particularly with all the cold and with all the snow we've had recently. So it's actually a very nice day today, 45 degrees. So I thought I'd use it to give you guys a quick tour of Donkey Park in the winter. And the icicles are falling off the roof as I speak. So I just got done feeding them. So they're gathered around outside. I try to feed them outside as much as I can in the winter. If it's a particularly cold day, cold night, or wet or windy, I will feed them inside with the shelter, but as much as possible I try to keep them outside. They do grow a very long coat or thick coat. Some of them are shorter haired, but they grow thick coat. Here's just showing quickly some of the paths I have to carve. So they got some room to exercise, and so I have some room to move around with the wheelbarrow. I don't have a snow blower, and sometimes in the middle of all this shoveling I regret that, but then when I'm done I'm kind of glad I don't. It's good exercise and feels like a greater sense of satisfaction to do it yourself. Anyway, so here's the herd. You can see, for those who are more familiar with them, who've seen them this summer and spring, you can see how they all got pretty heavy coats, the bangs. This is Dakota. She's going to be a year in next month, so she's 11 months old. She's got a real thick coat. That's her mama over there, Indy. So Romper here, when you see him in, well, actually it won't be till summer. They keep their coats pretty long until August. Usually they don't lose the very end of their winter coats, and a month later they're growing them back again. But he'll be down when you see him in the summer. He's got a very short, sleek-looking coat, like a horse. Anyway, so here they're all eating hay. This little area I carve out so that they have a place to eat on the ground, or just to get some exercise. Take one of the legs off of this here. I can't get my trailer back here in this kind of snow. I don't have a drive that goes to the stable, so when I get hay I have to park it over outside the gate, and that's part of the reason why I have all these pathways carved, so I can wheelbarrow the hay in a couple bales at a time. So that's my trailer gate. So they do pretty well in the cold. I usually look for a sign of shivering as the main indicator. Obviously they can't talk to say they're feeling cold. I bring them warm water from the house. Some people say, why don't you get a heater for your buckets? But I just feel like I'm heating the outside, and it doesn't really keep the water warm. It just keeps them from the ice from forming. So I'd rather bring them warm water a couple times, 3 times a day. And that's usually the source of, if they're going to get really chilled to the point of uncontrollable shivering, it's because they've taken a big drink of cold water. So I try to prevent that by bringing them warm water during the day regularly. I do feed them a lot more in the winter, pretty much as they can eat, and I'll bring it out as much as, fresh hay 3 times a day. I don't like to, I could just put a pile down in the beginning of the day and let them graze all day, but it tends to get wasted that way, especially because I like to feed them on the ground, so they'll poop on it. And so I'll bring them hay 2 to 3 times a day, and as much as they can eat. The process of digesting the hay creates some warmth inside of them, which helps them keep warm. So yeah, I'll follow Romper into the stable here. I don't know if the lighting is going to adjust well. They're home away from home during really blustery days. Right, Romp? So I've got 2 doors. If it's a really windy day but not that cold, I'll close one door so that the wind doesn't blow through here. On really cold days, I'll close both doors and shut them in, and that's usually nighttime. There's been a couple days when the snow is just so bad and wet. They don't have waterproof coats, so if that cold gets down to their skin, you know, it can really chill them, or the wet gets down to their skin, it will chill them. So last year I closed them in, I think, once or twice all year long, and one of those times was actually during a bad storm in the spring, where I was concerned about the wind blowing things and, you know, off the trees and hitting them. So this year, though, I've had them in a dozen or more times, fully closed in, sometimes as long as a day. And I don't like to do that too long, just because it's not the biggest stable. And even though they're very comfortable in there, you know, I presume they get a little antsy, and they do. They always look forward to getting out as soon as I can open the door. So, but it's just been so cold on so many days this year that I've kept them in. There's no heat in the stable, but just having the doors closed, and that helps keep their body heat in. It'll raise at a good 10, 15 degrees, 20 degrees. So it's pretty comfortable for them. So, and last but not least, the manure bucket wheelbarrow. I'm just about to take that to my dumping place. And that's actually one of the biggest challenges for me during the winter, because I've got to take it, I don't know if you can see that garage up over the hill. That's my neighbor, and I've got to take it through the snow over the hill, and then I make a left-hand turn to pretty much the full left side of the screen and go down a little bit hill. The reason I bring the manure that far is it's not a problem now in the winter, but in the spring and summer the flies can be really bad if your manure pile is really close. So it's about 1/6 of a mile, maybe a little less, or a little more, I mean, so 1/5 of a mile from the stable right now. And it helps a lot with the flies. Also, my neighbors like it because they'll use it for composting and fill and so on. So anyway, I do shovel this path, but it's hard to hold the phone and do the wheelbarrow at the same time. So I will give you a tour of that path on the way back when I've got an empty wheelbarrow and can pull it with one hand. So turning off for now.